Ashton, hello. Feels like it's been a long time. Thanks for the videos. That stuff's looking good. Looks like you're having fun, so that's good. So here we are, diving right back into it. First off, I wanted to mention an album you could check out. I don't think I've mentioned anything recently, so I thought to think of some more funky, jazzy stuff that you might like. So this is Jeff Beck. Blow by Blow is the name of the album. It was recorded in 1975. Has this drummer on it named Richard Bailey, who we don't know a whole lot about, but we do know that he was very young when he recorded this record. Not quite as young as you, but I think he was around 18 years old. And which is very young for the level of playing that he's playing at, and he just sounds amazing on this record. And I don't know, he just kind of disappeared. He never became a household name, as we say in the drumming world, but clearly an amazing drummer, and so this record's worth checking out. Jeff Beck, of course, is one of the best guitar players of all time. Any guitar player, well, your dad plays guitar, he probably knows who Jeff Beck is. Jeff Beck is just a legendary, world-class guitar player, and probably at this point in 1975, he wasn't super well known yet and was still cutting his teeth, as we say. But great record, and I think you'll dig it. It's very funky and jazzy. It's all instrumental. I don't think there's any vocals on that record. And it's pretty simple. It's just guitar, bass, drums, and keyboards, and very funky stuff. So check that out. I think you'll like it. And great drumming on that record, too. So, let's get into what we've been working on. I guess we'll look at the backbeat stuff first. So I have some notes here. Okay, so you were mentioning we were doing the 16th note fills, and that you had interpreted them as 32nd notes a couple weeks ago, and I was giving you a hard time about that. You know, it's kind of normal to get mixed up in our heads about interpreting note values. And in a way, we can interpret them different ways, and it's okay. So, like, for example, if I play this, are those 8th notes or 16th notes? Well, we're not reading them off of a page, and we're not hearing them within a piece of music. So if I just play that, are they 8th notes or 16th notes? Well, it's up to you what you want to interpret those as. And it's up to me what I want to interpret those as. They could be quarter notes. They could be 32nd notes. If they were 8th notes, I'll play them on my leg so you can hear me talking. If they were 8th notes, it would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, right? And that's okay. If they were 16th notes, they'd be 1 E and 2 E and, right? If they were quarter notes, they'd be 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. Okay, so it's okay to interpret things however you want, really. But, you know, if we're not reading off a page that's telling you what they are, or if we're not hearing them in context of a piece of music, where a lot of times there is one kind of right way of interpreting things. I hope that kind of makes sense. We'll probably come across this more as we go forward. But, yeah, I think that probably should help a little bit. So, as for the backbeats, we were working on the third backbeat with the bell and the cross stick and playing 16th note fills while playing 8th notes in the left foot. And you showed me that at 112. It looks great. So that was all great. I think you're probably 1 to 10. That was probably like an 8 or a 9 for you, if I had to guess. It looked comfortable. It sounded good. One thing I noticed was some just general inconsistency in your 16th notes. And this is cool. It's normal. I also noticed it when you were demonstrating the rudiments. When you play 16th notes, there's sort of a general inconsistency. So I have some new things to show you today that will help tackle that issue. No big deal. And I think we can move on from that particular backbeat that we were just talking about, the third one. That sounds good. So looking at the next thing we were doing was playing all of those quarter note backbeats with the left foot playing ups or ands or offbeat 8th notes. All three of those things mean the same thing. And so you have an understanding for what those are. You showed me, but then when you started playing the beats, you ended up doing something differently with your left foot. You ended up playing just 2 and 4, which is actually the next option on our left foot options page. So have a look at that video and you'll see what I'm talking about. No big deal. It's easy to get these things confused, but those are two very different things, and to play them feels very different. So let's just make sure we tackle the upbeats or offbeats or ands in the left foot first before we go to the 2 and 4, which we'll look at after we get this down. So I'll just demonstrate that again so you can see it. So 120, I suppose, is good. And I have the quarter note grooves down here so I can see them. And we're playing upbeats in the left foot. Let's stay on the bell and the cross stick for now. And I'll just run through that backbeat page playing like 4 bars of each. So that's our quarter note. So we have to remember our left foot is ups. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so that's what the left foot's doing. Now with the beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. Missed a kick drum there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it's a little quick for the left foot, not bad, but if you want to slow that down, it's totally cool. Show me what you can show me, and that'll be great. So, cool, we're good on backbeats for this week. While I'm thinking of it, let me show you this new sort of exercise to develop more consistency with your 16th notes. So I will take a picture of this and include a PDF in the email. So this is 16th note accents. This is number 1. I have another page of these. And I think a good starting point for these would be quarter note equals 60 or thereabouts. Whatever you have close to that on your metronome is fine. And I'll pull that up here while I'm at it. So it's fairly slow, but not crazy slow. And let's just look at the top line for right now. So you can see we have one bar here and one bar here, and then we repeat. So it's like a 2-bar phrase. In the first measure, we have accents, okay, which of course means you hit it harder, it's louder. And we have notes that have no accent, which are unaccented. You know all this. Our sticking will be single strokes. So right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, etc., etc. Always starting with the right hand. That we would call right hand lead, because we're right-handed players. So in the first measure, we end up with these accents that sort of fall in kind of interesting places, right? And the second measure is basically no accents except on the very first beat, the downbeat of beat 1. And you can see that looking at the rest of them on this page, they all follow this sort of template. The first measure has a bunch of interesting accents in interesting places, and the second measure is basically unaccented except on the first beat of beat 1, as you can see there. And of course, these are all different. The accents fall in different places. And so it's important to remember that the sticking always stays the same. Sometimes we end up getting in there and trying to play all these weird accents, and we change what our hands are doing. So just keep that in mind. Even though I didn't write it on all of these, the sticking is always that. And actually, I'm going to write it in on the second one, too, for now. And I would suggest printing this out. If that's how you're doing things, and writing in all of those stickings, at least initially, because it helps to be able to see where things line up, right? So you can see that this accent falls on a right, but this accent falls on a left. And if you have your sticking written in there, it can help in figuring all of this out a little bit quicker. So I'm writing in the sticking on the second one here, and I think probably for this week, just the first 2 on this page is probably going to be good. So you can at least start getting used to this. It could be a little tricky at first. And then once you do a week of working on the first couple, the next few should come pretty easily. What else do I want to say about this? As far as how we're going to practice these, like I said, there's a repeat at the end of the first line here. And these are basically meant to just repeat the same line over and over and over again for, like, you know, set a timer, do it for 5 minutes or whatever. Bump up the tempo a little bit, do it for another 5 minutes. Bump up the tempo a little bit, do it for another 5 minutes, or however you want to do it, but usually it's that kind of way of practicing. This page, at least for now, it's not designed to start at the beginning and read all the way to the end. Like the rudiments we've been working on, it's not really that. We're just looking at each individual idea and playing it over and over again to get very comfortable with it. The goal is to get to a point where you can memorize the accent pattern on each one. And it sounds a little hard. It's not bad. Once you get the basics and can play it with comfort, and then we speed it up a little bit, the ear starts to be able to hear the melody, if you will, within the accent pattern. It actually starts to sound like something musical. And then the mind can remember what that is, and essentially we've memorized the idea. Not sure if you'll be able to get to that point this week. Whatever. You do as much as you can do. But I guess let's just focus on the first two at 60-ish. And we're going to play all these just on snare drum for now, as they're written. But know that in another week or two, this stuff will become more fun, and we start to incorporate the feet, and we start to incorporate various toms to create more interesting ideas. So I'll demonstrate these two right now, but what this is going to give you is more balanced hands, because we're going to start to explore accents that fall on the left. So one of the things that was, well, basically the main thing that was making your 16th notes sound inconsistent was that your right hand was louder than your left hand. So it was always dega, 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 instead of da, 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 instead of all the same. Not that we want to play them all the same all the time, but we want to have the ability to play them all the same if we choose to. And that's going to come with learning how to accent more with your left hand, so that your left hand and right hand become more balanced. Right now, it's easy for you to accent with your right hand because you're a right-handed player, especially like on downbeats. That's an easy thing to do. A little harder on upbeats, probably, but accenting with your left hand is not as comfortable, especially on offbeats or upbeats. So this will help balance out your hands, and once we incorporate the feet and the toms, it will also give you more facility, more, that is the word I want, but what does that mean? It gives you more, well, in a way, control or flexibility around the instrument. It gives you more stuff to work with. So when I watch your 16th note improvs, they're very cool, but you're sort of stuck in Ashton mode with what you know what to do at this point in time, and this stuff is going to open up a new world for you as far as being able to improvise 16th notes in interesting ways using the whole drum set. Okay, that was a long ramble. Let me demonstrate these for you. So, 60, that's our quarter note. So if that's the quarter note, our 16th notes would be here, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. And I was dragging a little bit with my mouth. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. So I'll play the first one a couple times so you can see what that's like. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I did it twice. Let me do the second one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I'm trying to make my accents pretty loud, like coming up off the drum maybe 12 or 16 inches. And I'm trying to make my unaccented notes not as loud, obviously, maybe coming off the drum 4 to 6 inches. That kind of thing. there's a good chance that that's going to be a little too much initially, trying to play them at that speed with a metronome. So what you might want to do, which is probably what you do anyways, is just forget the click or metronome initially, and just try to read from the page and just go very slowly to try to get the unaccents. So like 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1. So that was the first measure of the first line, and I'm counting the 16th notes. Let me do the same thing with the first measure of the second line. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1. Okay, so just that's actually kind of hard. So that's probably a good starting point. And if you want to, it's probably a good idea to write in the 16th notes. Let me do that now for you. So just drawing in our 1 E and 2 E and etc. Just putting them over the tops of the 16th notes. 1 E and so again, you can see where things line up, and in this sort of first phase you can actually see what you're counting, which helps. Okay, so it kind of looks like a big mess right now, but this is probably what you need. So we have our syllables, our counting up here. We have what we're playing here, and then we have our sticking down here. So I did that on both of those. So that should be plenty for a week. If it's too much, just do the first one. I'd rather see you like super comfortable with just one of them than like messing up both of them, and you know, it's about quality over quantity for this stuff. So cool. That should make sense. What else do we have today? Rudiments. Alright, so yeah, that was my mistake. I totally overlooked the double paradiddle on that page. Whoops, sorry about that. I guess I got excited about showing you the double stroke roll and jumped past the double paradiddle. So, no big deal. Double paradiddle. It's fairly easy. We're phrasing it as triplets, which makes sense because it's a 6-note grouping. So 2 groupings of triplets equals 6 notes. So the whole thing is a little bit easier to play than like paradiddles, for example, or double strokes, for example, which are based on 4s, or 2s, if you will. Okay, so 70... So, here's the double paradiddle. Triplet, triplet, triplet. Okay, so easy enough. Right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, left, left. With the feet. Boom, chick, da, 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 da. Okay, I realized I was putting a little bit of an accent on beat 1 and beat 3, which is the start of each idea, and then I took it out and just tried to make them even. You know, I don't know, maybe just try to make them even. If you feel like putting a little accent on 1 and 3, like that's okay. No big deal. Alright, so the rest of it sounded good. I already mentioned the little inconsistencies with your 16th notes, which we're going to fix. And moving from triplets to 16th notes was a little herky-jerky. So just watch out for those transitions. It's hard. They're very simple ideas, but it's hard. And it's going to take some time to really dial that in. Why don't I... the press roll sounds great, by the way. That's very cool, right? Because that was a brand new thing just a couple months ago, and now you're playing a really nice press roll, which is important because that comes up a lot in music. So, why don't I play for you... well, why don't I play from the double paradiddle, which we just looked at, through the double stroke rolls, through the single stroke rolls, and through the press roll, so you can see all of that. 2, 3, 4. So maybe you can show me that same thing for next week. That would be cool. For me, that was pretty good. My double stroke triplet didn't feel all that great. It was a little right. So I'd give that whole thing maybe an 8 out of 10 for me. Maybe an 8.5. Cool. All right. And so I think probably what we'll do is you show me that for next week, and then at that point, maybe I'll want to see the whole thing again for the following week. And then maybe we'll move on. And we're making really good progress. Nice work. So it's just the rest of this page and like another not even half a page. And then we can talk about doing it with brushes and speeding it up. Cool. All right. What else? There was something else. Oh, improvisations. So, cool. Yeah, I think you got the resolution point idea. That was cool. And then the 16th note ones. And you gave me 2 versions, and yeah, I watched the first one and I was like, wait, wasn't he supposed to be playing left foot? So, and then you gave me the second one with the left foot. But, watch that video, you ended up playing quarter notes in your left foot instead of 8th notes, which is what I think we were trying to do, right? So, no big deal. It just comes down to another interpretation of note values and being able to grab those things quickly in your mind. But if you watch that video, you ended up playing quarters here instead of the much faster, twice as fast, eighth notes. No big deal. I don't need to see that again. I think it's cool, and I think what we're gonna do for now is take a little break from the improvisations, because mostly because I introduced these 16th note accent things to you today, and that stuff's gonna take some work, and I want to make sure you have time for that. And also, it's sort of gonna get into some improvisation type territory eventually anyways. So groovy. I guess that's it for today. Hope things are good. Boy, it's already the middle of August. I don't know. I'm wondering, are you going back to school? What's going on with that? Don't know. I know one of my other students who's going off to college in Chicago, and he's not going. It's going to be all online still. And so, weird times still. Alrighty. I will talk to you in about a week. Thank you for your hard work, and I'll see you soon.